What's up, guys? It's your boy IzzyDGamer here, and today, that's right, we'll be discussing slash praising or whatever The Last of Us 2. So, with that being said, you kind of already know my views on it, especially if you watched my The Last of Us Part 2 walkthrough, aka deep dives that we do on video games. That is complete, and you can check that out at any point after this video or before. But fair warning, there will be major spoilers in this video, and if you don't want to be spoiled, I suggest you check it out now. Come back to this video later. Actually, we are taking this video game apart piece by piece. We're talking about everything, every single little detail in the video game that we came across during our playthrough. And us being me and the famous Cheria White on this channel, who, you know, of course, you know about her love of The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, actually. So, yeah, we'll be ripping this game apart, telling you every little detail piece by piece. Okay, so let me tell you what we're doing. We're splitting this game up into 3 parts, and they'll be coming out on the daily. All right, and with that being said, we're going to start this review now. Spoiler warning once again, and let's get into it. Make sure you check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/IzzyDGamer. We out here, yeah. Start. Welcome, guys, and of course I wanted to give you the last spoiler warning, you know, so there's gonna be a spoiler warning right in front of you right here. And then of course we got our amazing guest. Of course she had to return because of this game. That's right, freaking Shireen Dawn White. How you doing?
Oh my god, I'm so excited for this episode, bro.
Like, first thing I wanted to do was kind of like a spoiler-free kind of thing, you know. So actually, before the spoiler warning, I just kind of wanted to get your impressions on the game as a whole. You know, kind of like how did it make you feel. You know, like I said, try to keep it spoiler-free, but you can, of course, allude to certain parts without, you know, saying exactly what it is, things like that.
Okay. So what's the question? Sorry.
Just how do you feel about the game as a whole?
Man, all those pushbacks, all that waiting, bro, way more than worth it, bro. I knew it. I knew when they were like, oh man, we gotta push it back. I was like, bro, I don't even care. I already know it's gonna be worth it. Naughty Dog is nothing but a group of freaking artists, you know. I already knew they was about to come with everything they had for this game,
Yeah,
and they did.
they did.
I'm so more than happy with how the game turned out.
Yeah, me too. I think The Last of Us is definitely controversial, you know. But
Yeah.
the thing, you know, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding The Last of Us Part 2, and, you know, before I give my kind of review, first thing I wanted to say is, you know, I wanted to, like, kind of push out a huge thanks to everybody kind of involved in The Last of Us, the creation of The Last of Us, and that includes, you know, the mocap actors, voice actors. They got likeness actors in there now. A bunch of other stuff like the
What's a likeness actor?
I'm sorry, you broke up. What'd you say?
What's a likeness actor?
Somebody who never actually showed up on set, but they used their likeness and
Um.
had somebody else play their actual character.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I won't like, you know, and of course people that were a huge part of developing the actual game. And Neil Druckmann, of course, is the head director of The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2. So yeah, huge thanks to those guys. It kind of, you know, one more thing I wanted to say is it is a video game, and And another thing is Naughty Dog is known, for telling these kind of crazy stories, and they always have meaning behind them. You know what I mean? Like they're not here to, adhere to your kind of fantasy of getting enveloped in a character, and kind of
They're not here to just satisfy people. They're here to
no, it's not really about that though. It's literally about, them not being here to because video games oftentimes are somewhere you can go to escape. It's a form of escapism, and like a lot of people use it for that. But Naughty Dog kind of changes it by using their platform to send messages. You know what I mean? And like the same with the original The Last of Us. The Last of Us was very controversial, especially with the ending, things like that. Like when I remember beating it for the first time, there was a huge backlash of people that were like, yeah, there was a huge backlash of people who were like, man, I don't like this game. Joel is a villain. You know what I mean? Like he is a bad guy, and like why would you have me play as this guy? Blah 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 blah. So it's like no, it's no surprise that this game caused so much controversy. I feel like you kind of should draw the line at things like death threats and things like that.
yeah.
But yeah, of course, with that being said, I'll say, yeah, this is The Last of Us Part 2 was crazy, and the way it made me feel was like no other game. And I just also wanted to comment on how freaking manipulative the developers down at Naughty Dog are, and how
They
they're
play you,
freaking
bro.
using my emotions against me. You know what I mean? And things like that. And some evil doers,
Oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah, of course, with that being said, now we can give the last spoiler warning. Boom. Last spoiler warning. We're about to get into this crap, guys. So, even if you think that you're never going to play this game ever, I would never watch this video until you play it, because it will ruin the experience.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, like there's certain things that happen in certain ways to telegraph a story to you, and help you to feel empathetic to that story. Starting within the first 3 hours, we'll kind of give that parameter. Unless I kind of rip the first band-aid off right away, Joel flipping dies. You know what I'm saying?
Joel, fucking get up! Please stop! Please don't do this! Joel, please get up! No!
Bro, did you cry on that?
Yeah, man. I told you I did. I texted you. I was like, bro, I cried for like a good like 4 hours after that. Like I was still like,
Bro,
I
I was
cannot,
I
I
don't know if
can't
I
play
was
this
telling
game.
you. I don't know if I was telling you or if I was telling my mom, but I was like, man, I played that part and I was like, oh, this a nightmare? When she about to wake up, and then the next scene was her and Dina at the graveyard, and I was like, huh? Hold up, this a weird dream, bro. Wake up, Ellie.
I want to stop at his house before we leave. I just have to pick something up. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I remember playing. I actually saw it coming. You know what I mean? Like I've been listening to a lot of people who didn't see it coming. But one thing I wanted to mention was these things got kind of like up until there were a few things that were spoiled in the game, and luckily enough, I was able to remain spoiler free until I played this, and I thought I spoiled myself, and I didn't. We'll get to it later. But I played that part, and I was like, the moment you're playing as Abby, right? You kind of get a sense. I get a sense right off rip that something's wrong. They're looking at Jackson. The moment they look at Jackson, I'm like,
I was like, oh yeah, they there for Joel.
Yeah.
They there for Joel.
I was like, bro, somebody's dying tonight. I was like, well, we all assumed Joel right away, because like I know me, like I was thinking Joel, like
Yeah.
there was no point where I was thinking anybody else. Like the moment like they're looking at Jackson, I'm like, bro, Joel's dead. Joel's dying right here. Cause like I already expected Joel to die. Like it was a ongoing theory that I was talking about for the longest. I was like, bro, he has to die. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not in the sense of like because of what he did or anything like that. But it's like if you truly want Ellie to kind of come into her own,
She
like
can't.
she can't have that person to rely on.
Yeah, can I say I also avoided all the spoilers. So in the beginning, like when we were watching trailers as they were coming out, I was like, Neil Druckmann said it was going to be a story of revenge, and then my immediate thought was, okay, Joel died,
Yeah.
and then the trailers came out with Dina, and I was like, okay, Ellie has a girlfriend, maybe she dies. And I was like, it's a little bit of a toss-up because Ellie's an adult now. She has like a serious relationship. She could be avenging her death or whatever. And then the moment Abby and Owen were looking over the sea, or over the mountain cliff or whatever at Jackson, I was like, oh, Joel's about to die, bro. Frick. I knew he was gonna die at that moment, but I was like, not at all prepared for how it happened, bro. I was like, she had to watch him go like that, bro. I was like, no.
Yeah,
not okay.
Yeah, that kind of scene was so deep. I feel like, but it was so necessary, and that's what I mean by like they're so manipulative, because like they know how to like work those emotions. They know how to get the exact emotion they want, for every scene that's in the game. It's like they can make you laugh right after they make you cry, and they can like do all of this crazy stuff, and like the emotion that I feel like they kind of wanted you to feel right then was that just kind of that kind of same blind rage that Ellie's feeling throughout the entire game. It's like you understand, and that's why like they did Joel the exact way that they did him, is because like death in this game is like it's uncertain, which is an awesome thing to kind of say about a video game, because I can so easily detect when people are about to die and things like that within stories, because it's just so simple. It's like, okay, and build them up as a great person, do all of this, just the normal kind of steps, and then it's like, oh, hero moment, okay, yeah, he's holding the door open, he gets chewed up by zombies, he's freaking, he's on the run, he pushes Ellie, all of these kind of things that you can kind of expect to happen because it's a video game. But the way that they did it, I feel like was so real. It's like, because everybody is the hero of their own story, and like I feel like that was something that was so well like just kind of talked about and gone through within just Joel's kind of situation. Because when you're in Jackson, and you're walking around, you're talking to Tommy, you're talking to Jesse, you're talking to Dina, like everybody loves Joel, and they comment on it, and they comment on how good of a person he is, you know what I mean? And like how they could never see Joel or Tommy doing anything that like Ellie is saying that they are capable of throughout the story. Is like, you don't really know them, bro. Like they've been through a lot, like, but they've changed, and I feel like that was an awesome way of kind of showing that. So how do you feel about that situation?
I agree. I have more to say about it, but it involves the later part in the game, and I don't wanna jump ahead.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so we can move on.
I have a question though. It's about this first few hours. When Abby and the other WLF people kind of captured Joel, and he was like, "Who are you?" or whatever, and she said, "Guess."
Joel Miller.
Who are you?
Guess.
I guess it's a 2-in-1 question. What? Who were you thinking she was? And then, do you know? Do you think Joel knew who she was before she killed him?
No, I don't think he knew. And I was thinking that she was a part of the fireplace.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I wasn't completely wrong on that, but you
She
know,
was a firefly.
yeah. Um, just because I knew I had to relate back to what happened at the end. You know,
Yeah,
that ending was it kind of just kind of like this game. It took away kind of your sense of agency, and I feel like that's what makes people so upset about this video game is because you know Naughty Dog has a story to tell as opposed to any other game who's like, you know, I just want you to feel empowered. I want you to, you
yeah,
know, run out here as this great human being or whatever you are, you know, and feel good about what you're doing in the game. And this game is kind of like, no, I want you to ask questions about not only what you do in video games, but what you do in real life. And so, like, that's like, you know, the commentary on just killing things, you know, like it has this kind of underlying theme of like, no, like these deaths mean something to somebody,
yeah,
you know, and that's why it's like that's why they're doing the thing where they're shouting out the names, which kind of it didn't really affect me as much, but I've heard about people that it, you know, it did affect, you know, like killing,
I really like that.
yeah, killing the
I
dog and
feel,
hearing them call out the dog's name and be, oh
yeah.
no, oh no, yeah, and I
Um,
do like that addition too, yeah, definitely,
I feel like it added a lot more, like a stronger personal sense than like if you are sneaking through a hotel in the first game and you just like offering people quietly, and then they bud come by and they're just like, "What the frick?"
it's a body over here, guys.
But like in this game, they're like, "Jennifer, no!"
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's what I mean. Like it's certain things like that that they do to kind of make you like feel something about these lives you're taking. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like not only that, but it affect you see the effect it has on Ellie. You know, throughout the
yeah,
game, this kind of like underlying theme of like, yo, you know, like, regardless of what the reasoning is, what I'm doing is changing me as a person. One thing that I never mind, I'll just actually save it for later.
okay,
So yeah, with that being said, I kind of wanted to speak a little bit on the death of Joel and kind of like the situation with that. Because like it's such a big moment, I did want to spend a lot of time on it. You know, so Joel you know he not only dies but he gets freaking tortured to death. You know what I mean? Like it's not just death. And she literally says like, "Yo, you stupid old man, like you can't freaking rush this." You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
like that was the most savage thing I've ever heard. And like, you know, coming through that door is Ellie. Even having seen the preview or commercial or trailer or whatever.
yeah.
Um, like watching her get pinned down on the floor and stuff, like all of it was shocking to me. Like I was like, Ellie, freaking run in there, freaking get that guy. I was like, oh, bruh, what the frick, dude? Why did you push so close? Like, why did you push through the door? And then she like gets slammed down. She just slices the guy's face. I'm like, bro, yeah, 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 you got it, you got it. You know, like I was all in at that point, and so just kind of watching that final hit, you know, like the whole time knowing that it's gonna happen, but wishing, you know, like, oh no, hopefully, you know, hopefully Tommy comes in with his freaking rifle. Oh no, he's knocked out on the floor. Oh, hopefully Jesse, you know, like you're like looking for anything to kind of
Yeah.
explain your way out of it. But yeah, that was definitely a successful moment.
I have a question for you. It's a question my mom asked me a lot, and I don't know the answer to it. Why? What was the point in her tourniqueting his leg after she shot him in the leg, and then
So
she was like, tourniquet his leg?
so he doesn't bleed out.
I guess that makes sense. But oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of it was bad. It was very graphic too. Like seeing his leg get shot off and then seeing it freaking pan down to his leg and it's like gushing, oozing freaking blood. I was like, "Oh my god."
Don't you fucking move. God! Damn it!
Clear out.
God, you evil doers. Like you freaking evil doers. But yeah, let's move on from there. I wanted to make a couple of comments. Well, before we move on from that, I also wanted to give you some information. Did you know that Ellie's dad, Ashley Johnson's father, actually passed away in 2000, I believe. And so those are the emotions that she was pulling from. And I gotta say, that was an amazing performance from Ashley Johnson. Just kind of that whole thing. It was so realistic. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I've ever seen a better performance in that sense. You know, like it was
It was a
so
lot.
real.
Good job.
Yeah, that kind of the last hit and that scream killed me.
Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up. Please stop. Please don't shoot. Joel, please get up.
That's what caused me to cry. I was like, oh, not Ellie, not my girl Ellie, dude. But yeah, okay, so let's move on from there.
Okay.
We spoke about it a little bit. You know, The Last of Us Part 2 really does a good job at making you feel guilty, you know, for the things that you're doing. And the immediate emotion that I was feeling was I was on the exact path of Ellie, you know, when after that moment, you know, so like when it flashes, you know, and another thing, amazing job on facial animation during the scene after Joel's death, which is like, you know, like she's like her and Tommy kind of talking in her house / garage apartment thing, right? And like Tommy making all of these excuses, and then at one point Ellie like gives him this look that's kind of like, you know, like, bro, like, why are you making all these excuses? And I feel like that was so meaningful to me. You know, I feel like I've given that look a lot of times where I'm just like, dude, what the frick are you saying, bro? You know what I mean? Like, so that I was able to relate to that in a sense. How do you feel kind of about the funeral / house visit scene? To kind of show that.
I cried when he died, and then I felt like I cried more when she was walking up to his house, and like you saw all the love that like the community had given outside of his house with the I don't know the word for it, I forgot it, but people were putting up like flowers and like notes and whatnot, in honor of him dying. And then like she tries to go in his house and she's shaking, and I'm like sitting there thinking like, bro, like I love my dad so much. I have no idea. I don't know how she is like functioning at this point in the game. Like to even walk, like it's hard. You can tell it's hard for her, but like to even just get up and like live.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, oh my god. I stepped in his house and I started crying, and I'm like, okay, stop crying. And then I go upstairs, and then we go like through his box, and I'm like, it was just so much. I was like, bro, I feel like Joel is my dad, which is weird. I feel like you get this like dad sense from Joel, right? But from the first game, you are Joel.
Yeah.
So it's weird. He's not looking after you as Ellie.
Yeah.
He's looking after Ellie. You're looking after Ellie, but you still have dad sense from him. Like,
I
oh
feel
my
like
God,
because
I
they,
about this man.
yeah, I feel like because they do such a good job at creating that kind of father-daughter relationship in the original, you understand. You understand exactly how Joel feels about Ellie, and you understand exactly how Ellie feels about Joel. Like there's no kind of confusion there. Like like they're willing to put everything on the line for each other. You know what I mean? And like throughout the original game, that's shown. Like even when like and to kind of point to one of the flashbacks, we can get into these flashbacks at any point because I don't feel like they spoil too much about the main story. But like the bloater scene, when they're headed to the music store, right? I feel like that is like perfect, like a kind of perfect representation of like what they're willing to do for each other. Because like both of them, like when Ellie gets snatched up by that bloater, like Joel is done. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, bro, like you're about to die. Like I don't really care if my arm gets chopped off or anything. Come on, bro. You're about to die. And so like, and it's kind of that same situation because when Joel gets grabbed up too, when they're like kind of going back and forth and like hiding, in between walls and things like that. And Ellie you can run into Ellie and save him and things. And it's just like that. That's a constant kind of thing that goes on throughout their journey, in the original game. So I feel like that's why we look at, and it's a perfect thing because I'm gonna actually go and get into this. It actually came from this chick of this woman. She's on What's Good Games, which is a YouTube channel / Twitch channel / it's a brand. Anyway, her name's Christine Steimer, and she said that The Last of Us was it's such a good name for the video game because like throughout the original journey, they kind of become us in a sense. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of so invested within the story that we make them a part of our group, and that's why the Abby scene, of her killing Joel, hits us so hard because she is not us. You know what I mean? Like she is an outsider, even though we played with her for like a little bit. Like we're like, dude, who is this woman? She's like, she just impeded on our kind of situation. We're having a good time over here. You know what I mean? Like that, like, and so we're feeling exactly what Ellie is feeling, exactly what Joel is feeling at that moment. Yeah. And yeah, with that.
Like, did he ask me a question?
I was just looking for your comment, but with that being said, the kind of situation with the house, I was actually so distraught I didn't even notice the house, and so like when people talk about like going through Joel's house, bro, I was so messed up from the last scene that when I was going through the house, bro, I was not even paying attention. I was just going through the motions. And like,
I love his cup, bro. It looks so cute.
I gotta say, two things I did notice in the house. Joel is a craftsman. He makes little, I don't even know what those called, wooden
like little statues
and things. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The sad thing was he had one that was unfinished. So so he'll never be able to finish one of them. And then the other thing that I noticed, of course, was like when Ellie goes into his closet and like puts her face on his jacket. You can do that, kind of interact with the jacket. Man, yeah, I feel like that just kind of set me over the edge again. And I was like, all right, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Bro, you know what set me over the edge again was walking up the stairs and really throughout his house, because I think he has a room with just like nature stuff in it. Like he has paintings and like little which now I guess is probably the things that he was like carving of like animals in nature. I'm like,
Yeah,
bro, he loved that stuff. I love that stuff. Joel, he had such a warm heart, really. And then like
yeah,
you can also see like he was so hard in the first game, and then he got much softer in this game, bro.
yeah.
And you're like, man, I almost wish I knew that Joel. I do wish I knew that Joel, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the Joel, the kind of or not post apocalypse, but kind of like post salvation Joel is so amazing. It's like I kind of, and I feel like that's the important part is like I've always liked Joel as a character, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it was so easy to kind of empathize with him with his kind of end choice that he makes on the original,
Mm-hmm.
by like not telling her the truth, lying, like lying about the fireflies and everything. That
Right.
kind of situation. It's just like from what I hear from a lot of people and myself included, is like, dang man, Joe is a bad guy, but I get it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. A lot of people like understand where Joel is coming from. Kind of like, at least with the last game,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like his reasoning for lying to Ellie, and like kind of continuing the line, bringing her along, like breaking out, killing all the hospital employees and security guards and whatnot. Um, which was crazy moment. But yeah, it kind of said all that to say like that's kind of why I feel like he's considered such a father figure, not just to you or me, but to like almost a vast majority of the Last of Us, I guess consumers, like they did a very good job, kind of making
So,
it possible to empathize, with them.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so dang, I was there's a couple of things that I didn't want to get into, but I guess the next thing we can kind of move on to is the kind of journey for revenge. So how did you feel about that? Like, I would truly want to know, like, from the beginning, like of Joel's death up until I guess the switch, and we won't say much more about that. But yeah, up until the switch, like, kind of, how did you feel about uh, the revenge? Did your kind of views change at all, like throughout that playthrough, or?
I felt obviously initially I was very man, this girl gotta die. She done killed Big Daddy Joel. Oh no, I don't. Okay, because at first, obviously, we don't know who she is. My impression is that she's a pissed off Firefly. She's like, man, we could have had it cured, man.
Yeah,
We could have blah 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 blah. And I was like, I mean, yeah, that sucks. But you still killed Joe. Like I still gotta kill you, bro. Like you and your team. Ellie was like, and then at that point, I thought uh, they killed Tommy. And like at first, I thought they just knocked him out, and then they saw as they were killing him, they panned over to Tommy, and he was like unconscious on the floor, and I was like, oh no.
yeah. I thought the
I
same
was like,
thing. I was like,
I
bro,
was
they
like,
killed
all right.
Tommy too.
I was like, all right, we gotta you killed Joel and Tommy. You and your whole crew gotta die, bro.
Yeah.
But then you know, but yeah, man. Before the switch, I was like, Frank, I want to slow torture this girl, especially because they had kind of sort of talked about it a little bit when Dina and Ellie were talking before they found out anything had happened to Joel and Tommy. They were talking about Tommy and Eugene being in the Fireflies and how Tommy used to slow torture people. I'm like, looks like I gotta slow torture Abby.
Hmm.
So
And kind of, how did you like that kind of situation where she does try to slow torture somebody and she fails like horribly?
I'm not giving up, my friend.
I like how they give you the feeling of having a choice, but you don't have a choice in this game, bro. But well, she actually does it, but it's so much less kind of like if you kind of do a direct kind of comparison to Joel's version of the torture scene, you know, when he's looking for Ellie when she's like captured by Tom, or not Tommy, but David back in the day.
The girl. Is she alive? What girl? I don't know no girl. Fuck! Focus right here, right here. I'll pop your goddamn knee off. The girl.
Joel is definitely more professional at torturing. But Ellie on her first time, I feel like, had the right idea. She could have done it, but then Owen just messed up and started walking towards her. He had to die. She didn't have a choice. But to be fair, wait, no. I was gonna say she got the information, but she didn't.
Yeah. Well, technically she did get the information, and actually the first time she tortures somebody and it kind of falls through is with I believe her name is Nora, the black woman that she throws down into the spores. So kind of, how did you feel about that whole situation? Because I felt that was powerful or impactful.
I thought it was very powerful. At first, I figured she was just gonna like beat her to death, because I'm like, bro, you beating her like in the face, and what I felt like it didn't have to be in the face. I'm like, she gonna die. She ain't gonna last too long.
That's what I was thinking.
But then when in the cutscene, she was like, I made her talk. I was like, oh, Ellie, no.
Yeah.
I made her talk. It's okay.
Yeah.
I was like, Ellie, you're not built for this, baby girl. But I guess I'm sure Joel or Tommy or literally anybody else, they first time kind of doing that to somebody, they was like, I don't know, bro. That was kind of messed up. But I guess this is the world we live in.
Yeah. This is The Last of Us, man.
That's a Tommy.
The Last of Us. But I agree. What I will say about the kind of journey leading up to it, I feel like it's important, very important. They do so much amazing world building and things like that to kind of create this dichotomy, or this kind of like destruction you kind of see with the cycle of violence, the cycle of like hatred, you know, and kind of things like that. Like if you pick up the letters and read those, like they're, you know, there's people that are dealing with similar situations all throughout the world, you know. And I feel like it's so important. It's also, Dina's role is very important. I love Dina as a character, because she was like the good conscience, you know what I mean? Like although like she was unsure about things, like she knew that the journey that Ellie was on wasn't right, but because she loved her so much, she was willing to follow her through that journey, all while the entire time like trying to convince her that this is wrong. And like from the beginning of the journey, you know, she's saying, she's questioning and forcing her to ask questions about the choice that she's making of pursuing this kind of path of revenge. And she's like, yo, yeah, I mean, like, do you know what Joel did to him? You know, and she's like, yeah, like there, you know, Ellie's like, there's a list of things, you know, Joel could have probably done. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no point trying to guess. And There's things like, I guess if the cordyceps clickers kill these WLF agents, then that's kind of poetic in a way, right? Poetic
Right.
justice. And Ellie's like, no, that's not enough. Like I need to be I need to be the one. And like that's like it kind of creates these. It makes you think, as a player, like, this is what I kind of mean by like how they kind of make you feel guilty, and like for the kind of thing that you're doing, which I don't think is a bad thing, because you should, personally, I think, but yeah, um, kind of like those questions, all they're asked all throughout the story, and I feel like Dina is like one of the driving forces, of that, and I feel like kind of leading up to that point, you see Ellie you see her not only angry, you don't see, or I mean, you see the blind rage, but you also see her second guessing herself. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how she gets
Yeah.
herself in situations like the one with Nora, and in situations like the one with Owen, where she doesn't really want to do this. You know what I mean? But feels this kind of she feels compelled to, because of what Joel means to her. You know what I mean? I feel like throughout this journey, like leading up to the switch, even, like you realize that within Ellie at least is like, bro, like I remember getting closer and closer to the end, and kind of like when they're like, yo, all right, you know, let's go home, and Tommy's like, yo, are you okay with this? Like, you sure you're okay with this, bro? Like, you cool with just leaving her alive,
Yeah.
And she's like, yes. I'm like, cool. That's what we needed. It's done. She can't let it
They
go.
got what they deserved.
But she gets to live.
Yeah. Is that okay?
It has to be.
And of course, this brings us to the next moment. Abby freaking ruins it. And of course, she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know that they made these choices or anything like that. But
Shit! Jesse! Stand up! Hands in the air, I shoot this one too!
Don't you do it, Ellie. Get out of here.
Stand up! Now!
Don't you fucking dare.
Shut the fuck up! Fuck. Alright. Stop! Stop!
shooting your homie Jesse in the face. Now, how'd that get you?
I wasn't expecting it. I was stupid and expected Jesse to make it. I should have known better.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be sooner, actually. So it did catch me off guard when we're headed out and boom, shot to the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I feel like is kind of like a great synopsis on death in this game, because it's so sudden, and I kind of love the way it's treated because it's so real, like it's so realistic and grounded in that sense, where like you can be hanging out with somebody, just kind of like chilling, having a good time, and it's gonna feed into like how I was feeling toward the end of this game. But yeah, it's just abrupt, like it happens out of nowhere, man. So you got any kind of views on that?
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's just so intense
yeah, it
the
is.
whole time.
So tell me something. Do you like the intensity of the game, or do you just do you wish it was kind of like less so?
No, I loved it. did I say it to you? Or I think I tweeted it. I was like, bro, every time I thought I knew what was about to happen, the game basically told me to shut my dumb ass up because I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, they're about to just leave Abby, you know, and that's the end of the game. And then they were like, how about we kill Jesse, fake death Tommy, freaking just drag this out even longer. I was like, oh no, I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Cause they were, man, and the saddest part is I got it all recorded and it's gonna be on YouTube. So you can hear me go, bro, it's cool, bro. I already know what's about to happen, bro. Ellie's dead. She's a dead woman. It's over.
Oh, can I say? So I looked up two things during this game because I needed to know. Because at one point I had spent so many hours on the game, I was like, oh my god, how many hours is this game? So I looked it up, and instead of telling me how many hours it was, Google was like, you want some spoilers? And one of the spoilers was like, Abby kills Ellie, and I was like, what do you mean Abby kills Ellie?
Dude, they got freaking trolls out there, man. I got with that too. That's exactly what I got with. But yeah, so yeah, the whole time, and then of course, you know, the Switch. So that I'm not gonna lie, personally, it knocked the wind out of me, and I kind of like lost my kind of drive to play, and I ended it that day. I ended my stream that day. I was just
Really?
like, yeah, and I was just like, okay, because like, I kind of thought I knew where it was going, you know, and that's why it's so like it's so easy for me to empathize with everybody that's so angry, because I understand that sense of ownership that people develop within characters, you know, that are created by other people. You know what I mean? Like you know, you see it with Andrew Lincoln and The Walking Dead. You know, like when he started going bad, there were a lot of people who were against that 100%. You know, and like they were like, "Yo, this is not my Rick Grimes." You know what I'm saying? Like this is not what he would do, and like you as a consumer do not know what he would do. It's the writers who know what the person would do. And so like
Yeah.
that's the kind of the point I'm making is like Naughty Dog, it's better to compare Naughty Dog to directors and filmmakers and writers, you know. Yeah, it knocked the wind out of me because I was like, man, frick, like Ellie, like I know freaking Ellie dies. You know what I'm saying? Just show, like, because I'm thinking it happens right there, and I'm like, just show me her dying so I could stop freaking, you know, I could stop thinking like, dude, she's good dying. You know, like let me just see it. Let
Yeah.
me get that kind of satisfaction from it. And so when they brought you back, you know, to Seattle day one, I was like, come on, bro, I'm right there. I was like, okay, gotta take a break. Which, you know, is definitely the wrong reaction, but I kind of wanted to comment on that because there's a lot of people that are feeling like a similar way, you know. And like when it switched to Abby, you know, and you know, play as the moment you hit the hospital, I was like, cool, I know. You know what I mean? Like, but you originally play as her as a kid, and it's her dad that kind of shows up, and he's they kind of see a zebra that's caught in barbed wire or something like that. And I feel like that alone, that scene alone, explained everything I need to know about why she was angry, why she chose the path of revenge, all of that. Because you see their kind of relationship, and you see that he is like treating her, unlike Joel, who was Ellie's protector. Abby's kind of like her father's protector, and that's kind of how he treats her. He's like, oh well, you know, you gotta protect me, right? She's like, oh yeah, I guess so. You know what I'm saying? Like making jokes like that, of course, but it.
You know, every time you run off like this, they give me shit about it.
Come on.
Believe it or not, they actually care about your safety.
These woods are safe.
Dad.
Abs,
She's been hanging out right on the other side of those trees.
And?
She's due any day now. We'll just check on her, and then we'll head back. I promise.
Let's just make it quick.
See? I've got my little girl to keep me safe.
It was that kind of different type of relationship, and I immediately kind of thought of you. I feel like it was such a similar relationship to you because you're so protective over the important people in your life, you know, and I could see you kind of in Abby's shoes a lot more in that sense where you know, I feel like Ellie was more, although she did protect, you know, she was more of the protected in terms of Joel and Ellie's relationship.
Yeah.
So kind of how did you feel about that kind of beginning scene, like that, the switcheroo, all of that stuff? I kind of wanted to get your opinion on.
I'm trying to remember what the beginning scene for Abby was. I think it was when they were at the stadium, right? And they were talking about how she, Mel, and Owen haven't really talked because of what happened in Jackson, right? Was that it?
The beginning scene was the zebra being caught in the barbed wire.
Right. I was like, okay. I was like, obviously you see that that's her dad, and then we don't fully know the dad like we do the other characters. Certainly not the way we know Joel, but we can see that he's a loving father.
Mm-hmm.
He has a good relationship with his kid. He is a good person because what is he spending his time doing? Just trying to see this freaking zebra give birth so he can see the baby. And then he sees that the zebra's stuck, and he's like, hey, come help me with this freaking zebra.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So you kind of get a glimpse into like his soft side, like his what kind of makes him like a good person. And I was like, I had a bad feeling. I was like, oh no, because like when Owen was like, hey, they brought that girl in, she got the bite mark and everything, traveling with that old dude, and they need you to do surgery. I was like, frick, man, because I was like, obviously we know that Joel is a good person despite all the people that he's killed. So I felt like it was kind of trying to think of a way to say it. I really appreciated not being a story of no, it was just. It's a good thing Joel killed her dad because he sucked. It was more like, Joel, bro, what the hell is this? Why would you do this?
Whoa, Joel, you tripping, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, calm down. All right, and swoop, there it is, guys. This has been the Last of Us Part 2 discussion. Make sure you're on the lookout for more to come. Let me know how you like the editing work. I put a lot of work into this. I just want to know things I should be improving on. There are some things like the borders and things like that are improved later or taken away actually. But yeah, just help me out with the feedback. Thank you guys so much for viewing. And until the next episode, I'll see you guys later.